Welcome everybody to our live Q&A today. My name is Sebastian Schiecke. I'm a business mentor and a business angel. And today we talk about sales. We talk about one of the topics many entrepreneurs often have an issue with. And this is why I have a very experienced sales coach with me today, Alex Vasilidis. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me in these shows, Sebastian. Thank you very much. So I would like to start by doing something that I normally say to all the guys that follow me and all the people that work for me, to never do it. I'm going to introduce myself. So there is a point why I do that, because we are going to connect the dots during this live session. So my name is Alex Vasilidis. It's a Greek last name. That's why it's so complex. I want to give you a brief story of my life and who I am and what I do. So I studied business and marketing in Germany. When I finished my studies, I returned in Greece, and back in the day, there was no internet. So when you open the newspapers in Greece, but I think that was a global case, out of the 50 pages that you have to find a work, maybe 30 of them, they were sales, 19 they were for accountants, and one was for everything else. So
I remember the times, and you had about 10 pages of quotes from the stock exchange, right?
Exactly. So there was only salespeople. So I knew I didn't want to become an accountant. So I was very introvert to become a salesperson, but then I had a bug inside, and I wanted to take the challenge to become a salesperson. So I did any kind of sales in real life sales that you can imagine. So I did door-to-door, I sold time sharing, I did telesales, telemarketing, retail sales, anything that you can imagine. In the year 2000, I opened my own business, which was a business that started from having an internet access point in a touristic location in Greece, that expanded, and the business expanded by us selling operated assisted phone call services, calling cards, installing Wi-Fi systems in hotels, coin telephones, and so on. It was a point after the Olympic Games in Athens, 2005, 6, 7, where if you came to the country, it was very, very probably that you would use one of my services. Unfortunately, this business started to decline in the year 2008, and the reason was not the financial crisis. Instead, the reason was that the developing of technology, so Skype, free Wi-Fi, a drop of the roaming costs around Europe, so that started to kill my business, and every year it became less and less and less. In the year 2012, I had to close my business. That was a very painful process for me, and I came to Spain because it's a very beautiful country, most importantly because my wife is Spanish. So I was here, I didn't know what to do, so nothing. So what I did, when I started searching for a work, I found a work because I speak German as a salesperson selling HP printers here in Barcelona. I started with HP, then I moved to CA Technologies, selling backup and disaster recovery solutions, and then I sold cyber threat intelligence, initially in the German market, but then internationally. But if you are a businessman for 12 years, then it's very difficult for you to be an employee again. So I started as a freelancer after some years, and then I wondered, so what those guys do, what CA Technology does, what cyber threat intelligence solution companies do, I could do it myself. I mean, what they do, I could do it, and I could do it better. So I created vParagon, which is a sales outsourcing company. That means we sell on behalf of our clients their products and services, solutions, software, and SaaS in new international markets. That's a very successful model that has been accelerated due to the COVID crisis and the tendency to find other ways to to sell products. So that's who I am. You can learn more about me on my personal website, alexvalasidis.com, or at vparagon.com. Thank you very much, Sebastian.
Okay, Alex. Thanks. There's a lot of information and a
Yes.
well prepared sales pitch. I mean, awesome. I mean, you are a salesperson. I mean, there are a couple of things in your story which are really interesting. Yeah. I mean, first of all, you started really as a door-to-door salesperson, right?
Exactly.
So this means that you must have learned a lot of rejections. Yeah, a lot of no's you probably heard in this period, because I mean, this is a tough job. I remember people going door to door in the past, selling hoovers and all kinds of stuff you already had at home. So I never envied these people, and I always thought, oh my God, you know, what a tough job for them to do.
It is absolutely a very, very tough job. I was the guy that was putting his leg in the door so that people don't close the door. So, however, that as an experience, it was an amazing experience that I think a lot of young people today, guys that like my kids, that they were born after the internet revolution, because we Sebastian, we were the guys that lived the traditional telephone era.
Yeah.
So all these young guys, they have less opportunity to get
to build this muscle, to build this mental strength.
Absolutely.
The mental toughness. Yes.
The mental toughness, because very nice the digitalization and very nice the computing and the internet. However, sales is the oldest profession in the world, and since thousands of years, there are the same basic principles that salespeople follow to achieve their goals. Yeah. So maybe the technology changes, maybe the background changes. However, the essence of sales remains the same.
Exactly. And the skills you develop, the mental toughness, is something every entrepreneur needs. And well, in our mentoring programs, we focus a lot on mental toughness. I mean, you experienced one of our events a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Where a whole afternoon was focused on developing the right mental skills to crush it in business. Yeah, and you and your experience as a door-to-door salesperson learned this automatically, which is amazing. And by the way, for our audience, if you have any questions, there's a chat. We monitor the chat, and you're more than happy to put some questions in, which I then will ask Alex. Yes. The second thing which I learned from your story, digital disruption was basically a killer to one of your businesses. So I remember the times when I was selling callback cards. You know, you initiated a call to the United States, and then you got a call back on your mobile phone, and then you could type in a number to call someone in your neighborhood, which was cheaper back then than getting in a contract with your local telephone provider. So I remember these times selling these calling cards, which was very lucrative business back then. But I mean, obviously they completely disappeared.
What killed my business, Sebastian, was also what gave birth to my new business. So we have to see challenges in life also as opportunities. So there is always a good thing in bad things. So never lose your confidence, never get the situation bring you down. So because there's always a twist, there's also a good thing. And my story it's a personal proof of that. What killed my business was my new business.
Exactly. I mean, getting out of your comfort zone, taking these so-called problems, many people see this as problems, turning them into opportunities and creating a new business. My whole life story is built on this concept. You know, I created companies because I had an issue which I had to solve, and then it turned out into something big, exciting, and successful. So I can relate to this a lot, Alex.
I want to say here to the webinar that took place a couple of weeks ago, your webinar, you truly understand the essence of what I'm talking about, because a lot of people, they focus on the sales techniques and tactics. That is one part. It's very nice to know that stuff. However, there is more behind. It's the mindset. It's you have to have some principles. You have to have the understanding of certain things to be a successful salesperson or businessman and entrepreneur.
Thank you, Alex. I mean, in the end, it's the same requirements, the same techniques and methods you need to establish. And yeah, we teach a lot about mindset of a seven-figure entrepreneur. I mean, many people, they want to build companies who are growing, who reach the seven figures, but they never get there. And why is that? Because something inside their mind is holding them back.
Absolutely.
Some limiting beliefs are blocking their process. And we focus a lot on unleashing this capability, because I believe many entrepreneurs are capable of building large companies. They are capable of growing their organizations. Just something inside of them is holding them back. And this is one element where we focus in our seminars. But Alex, let me ask you a question. I mean, when you take your history of 30 plus years as a salesperson, I mean, the world changed. We live in a digitalized world. The next deal is a mouse click away. The next offer is a mouse click away. So what is the biggest challenge? And I'm asked this question because I'm not only a mentor, I'm also an investor in certain startups, and they all have an issue with sales. So what is the biggest challenge in regards to B2B sales today?
Yes, thank you, Sebastian, very much. So this is a topic that we can talk about hours and hours about this, but I want to focus on certain challenges that are really a big handicap, a big break on proceeding. So if you ask me what is the big challenge today, I would say the big challenge is the complexity of the world and the understanding of things. So the understanding of things, it's a very wide, it's a very wide term. But what I mean with that is, I meet daily companies that they do not understand their own product. So you ask them, what are your unique selling points? And they tell you, we are the cheapest ones. We have very competitive guys that work in this project. Those are not unique selling points. What makes you different? So, and they cannot answer. They cannot find their true north. Now, translating that in approaching your client and trying to sell your solution.
Yeah, the focus, you have no clear direction, you are scattered.
Clear direction, but you have another additional major difficulty here, Sebastian. So, back in the day, you went to somebody's office with your bag. So this guy was compromised by politeness, by his education, to listen what you have to say for the next 5, 10, 20 minutes. So you had the opportunity to develop and explain what exactly your solution, your product does. Nowadays, you don't have this opportunity anymore. So you place a call and you have 10 seconds to attract the attention so that this person at the other side of the telephone is going to listen to you for 2, 3, 5 minutes so that he can attend a discovery call where you are going to be able to explain in detail what exactly you do. So 10 seconds. So that changes a lot of stuff. Now, add to that many companies that we are serving, mainly in the technology sector, they sell something that can add a lot of additional value. How can you explain that to attract their attention in 10 seconds, mention the 1 or 2 unique selling points that you have, so that the other guy is a very busy person, he's not expecting your call. He's the CTO of a company, he's the marketing manager, he's the CEO, and you call him, and he needs to say, okay, tell me more. So that is the biggest challenge. So there are a variety of more challenges that we can mention. So language barriers and cultural barriers. Is language a barrier? Depends. That's the answer. Depends. And the answer is not depends on the country that you are calling, but most importantly, depends on the industry that you are calling. So if you sell a software, wherever you call in the world, which is the country with the biggest language barrier, I think maybe France, right? Even if you call in France, they are going to speak English. So language is not a barrier. However, if you shift from that industry, which is very computerized and very English, let's say, educated, and you move to another industry. We had a client in the past, they used to sell accessories for trucks. We were calling in German. I can tell you, not even one of the prospects that we were calling was speaking English. So if you don't speak German, it's impossible to communicate with those people.
Depending on the industry, yeah.
Depends. The main factor is the industry. The second one is the cultural difference. So culture does play a role. So another thing is you call in the Netherlands, another thing is you call in Turkey. Another thing is you have like an American salesperson. Another thing is you have an Indian salesperson. So it's a different approach. So you have to think, where do I want to call in terms of geographical location, in terms of industry, and who are the salespeople that I want to engage, and what is their culture and their perception, their understanding of sales.
Culture not only affects sales. I mean, culture is one of the areas where we focus a lot in our mentoring, because nowadays the world has become so small that you can work with people from everywhere. I mean, our team is completely virtual and global. I have people in the Philippines, in Spain, in the US, and of course there are different nationalities, but also different culture, different mindset, you know, and the way you have to deal with these people is different, and you have to adapt, and you have to change your approach every time you talk to someone else. And I completely agree that this is a skill which is very important, and unfortunately not many companies focus on that. Not many companies invest in culture development, because they just don't realize how important it is. But you pointed this out.
But here you sparked me to, I wanted to say something different, but let me comment on what you say. The problem with companies is, so your client is, what kind of company is your client? Is a medium-sized company, then you might be able to speak with the owner, with the CEO, right? And the company, it's a reflection basically of him. So things there are different, because this person, if he listens to you and he understands you, he's going to apply.
Exactly.
He's going to apply what you say. But if you speak to a big organization, you speak with an employee. So this employee, what's his personal agenda? What is does he really care at the bottom line? So things are more complex and more difficult. But I want to go back in what I said at the beginning, the understanding of things, and let's go on this understanding. The understanding who is the proper decision maker to speak in a complex organization. What is his relationship with other people in this organization? What is the understanding of the salesperson of the product in relation with the person that he speaks to? Because what happens, and I saw it every day. Today I had a conversation with an SEO expert. So the guy, he pitched me. He didn't listen what I had to say. So what a lot of people do is they have the spaghetti cannon technique. So you have a cannon and you put spaghetti inside and you shoot the cannon against the wall and you hope that something sticks. So let's start like emailing like thousands of people, sending spam messages on LinkedIn to hundreds of people, and then we hope something sticks. No, that's not the way to go today. You have to use your most important muscle, which is your brain, and think, what is your message and to whom I am appealing, and what are the keywords that I use and how I use them. It matters. The way you write, your confidence when you are talking, everything matters, because you have 10 seconds.
Sounds like a challenging job to me. So how is it? How does the market look, Alex? So I saw a comment here from Tobias. One of his biggest challenges to find a brilliant sales guy. What is your experience in finding sales guys? I mean, I know you build up a team of salespeople in your organization.
Yes. So the challenges of finding salespeople. So let me tell you that in my work, the biggest challenge is to find salespeople. And many people they don't understand what I really want. Okay, so what is it that makes a salesperson a good salesperson? I have a lot of CVs that I receive, and I see I have studied this, or I receive other messages. I've been 10 years in customer support. Let me tell you this, the guy that is customer support, he's not for sales, period. And I can tell you why. Because this guy finds pleasure on giving information to other people. Why the salesperson is the guy that takes the challenge, is the guy that does not regret to be unpleasant when it needs to.
And the guy who's hungry, I guess, yeah, hungry, and he wants to achieve something, and he is driven, yeah. I mean, you probably know disc profiles, and a salesperson, he most likely needs a high D, yeah, and a high D where it's really fast and to the point, and also a good people person.
The hungriness is absolutely a necessity for somebody to become a salesperson. However, I have to say that through a variety of different cultures, hungriness and money compensation has a divert impact. So there are a variety of cultures around the planet where the more money somebody gets, the more relaxed he feels. Instead of increasing the effort, it works. It decreases the effort.
But you know what it is.
If I know what it is,
you know why this is the case.
No, but
it's based on your hierarchy of needs. You know, if you look at the Maslow pyramid of needs, having money is a deficiency need. As more money you have, as more relaxed you get, and as less hungry you are. So they have to step up, and they have to basically have a drive which is not related to money. You know, they need to serve. They need to really grow with their sales job. And not many salespeople, I believe, get to the point. You know, they only focus on money, and then they lose at a certain point. They lose interest because they earn enough money. So the challenge is to really that they step up, that they find a growth potential, an inner growth potential in their work, which will drive them to even greater heights.
It is more than money, Sebastian. It is more than money. However, for me, the biggest challenge of finding the proper salespeople is the integrity of the salespeople. So, as you mentioned at the beginning, we live in the world where everything is one click away.
One click away, yeah.
So there is not anymore the emotional attachment that exists on a physical business. So you hire somebody in your office, he comes in your office, you know this person not only from the screen, but you know him in person. So it is a fact that there is like some kind of binding there. In this new digital world, everybody's one click away. So what we face, and that's the big problem in the industry, is that we find people that maybe they're going to let you down after a week, and there's nothing that you can do on that. Maybe this person is in a different continent. So I see integrity as a big unique selling point. For me, integrity definitely plays a big role, even if I have to deal with somebody that is not the expert salesperson.
But what can we do? What can we business leaders do to increase this integrity, or to give them an environment where they like working, where they stay, where they not just go away for the next small pay rise? Maybe it's something about creating an environment where they strive, where they enjoy working, where we all share a common vision. What about this, Alex?
The common vision, it's one way to go. Building a culture in the company, that is another way to go. And understand basic human needs. What I say to my sales guys, and that is something that I stand for, that is that if you make mistakes in my company are embraced, because if you don't do mistakes, you are never going to learn. So there are companies that they are very strict. Okay, they go, no, don't do that. That is it. So the first thing here to mention is, in this digital world, nothing is so important or so unimportant as you imagine it is. So
Yes.
you send an email to 3,000 people. You say, oh, wow, now 3,000 people. No, the reality is, out of those 3,000 people, only 30, they really read what you sent. Now you do something wrong. Okay, that's not the end of the world. Mistakes happen. That's not the bad thing. It's how you stand for the mistakes that happen. So in vParagon, if people do mistakes, I want them to do mistakes, because they're going to do it once, twice, then they're going to learn. They are one step forward.
I completely agree. I also tell my guys, I mean, hey, let's face it, it's not about life and death. Yeah, I mean, we are not in a hospital where we care for very sick people, and so mistakes we do, and mistakes happen. They don't have a tremendous effect. So I also encourage my people to try things out. You know, to really make mistakes and learn and grow, because as you said, otherwise they're not developing their skills. And I know many companies with a very strict and hierarchy culture, yeah, making mistakes is very difficult. You know, they are not empowered to make mistakes. And how shall these companies grow? I mean, in the end, the best people leave because they don't want to get up with this anymore.
Absolutely. So in your industry, Sebastian, what are the challenges that you have as a business mentor and startup angel? What are the
Well, I mean, the challenges, I mean, I would more focus on the challenges my customers and my startups have, because I mean,
Yes.
this is why we're here. You touched on many of them already. I mean, one of the biggest challenges is their mindset. Their mindset as an entrepreneur, and also how they see their role. I mean, many people, they start a business because they're very good in something. Yeah, they're very good in developing software or creating something, and then they start this organization as the expert, which for a while goes very well, because they enjoy what they do. They enjoy coding, they enjoy creating and doing the work. But then what happens then? I experience this on my own business. Company is growing, it's getting more complex. You have more clients, you have more staff, and then suddenly you are faced with this situation that you cannot focus on the coding anymore. You have to focus on running the business. So you have to basically step up and change the role to a kind of a manager and leader in the organization. And then if you do this right, you fulfill this role, you manage the team, you manage the client relationship. But often it happens that the entrepreneurs are not that happy anymore, because they started because they want to code, for example, yeah, or they want to build something. But now they are faced with all these issues with managing a team, managing client relationships, and it's almost firefighting. You know, it's often that they are reacting to things which are happening, so they don't have time anymore to focus on a strategy. They don't have time anymore to really work on the business. And this is a critical point, because many of them, they don't realize that they have to step up to another role, to the role of an entrepreneur or business owner, where they put the systems in place which basically run on their own without their major involvement. And this is where we help our customers. This is where we come in and help them to step back from their business, look at it, and decide what roles do they need to put in, what systems do they need to put in place. It's a lot of, first of all, experience. I mean, understanding your own role as the founder, and stepping away from your baby. I mean, it happened to me. I was in a similar situation which almost killed my business over a decade ago. And I learned this, and this is what we bring in to the people. And with this role shift, you have a lot of topics. You have topics of leadership. So how do I create this culture? How do I create the environment that people love working for me? How do I manage things like cash flow? You need different business skills. I mean, you know why people like Michael Jackson or other very successful artists went broke in the end? I always ask myself, how can you get broke when you make millions and millions of dollars? Yeah? Because they never learned the business skills. They never learned how to manage how to step away and how to see this as an owner and an entrepreneur. And those are very important skills people learn when they work with us. And we do this. I mean, we have an amazing, and I tell this now because it's the time of the year. The time of the year is you reflect on the year, and then you plan your year ahead. You set goals. You set the direction where you want to go as a business leader. And for me, this is a very important time. And for years, I sit down, I take a day basically and think about my goals and think about what I want to achieve next year and put a system in place that I also follow through. And for the last 2 years, we run an event where we teach these skills. It's an amazing one-day experience. And I know, Alex, that you're coming, and I'm really happy to have you around again.
I always find value in your webinars, and they go one level deeper than most of the webinars that are outside there. That they teach the surface, but you cannot solve the problems by looking the surface. You need to recognize what is behind the surface and address that in order to solve a problem. You cannot cure cancer with aspirin. It's not the way it works. So
this is why we run these events, and I just want to use the opportunity to invite everyone it's a one-day event. It's called Your 7-Figure Year, because many of our clients, they want to build a 7-figure plus company, and we use this day to really create the essence, the foundation for your 7-figure business. Then we set the goals for the next year, and we do this in an interactive environment where you work together with other ambitious entrepreneurs. And I'm really excited that this day is coming up. The whole year, I'm looking forward for this day, where you really can go in and work on your business, on your personality as an entrepreneur. And there's the URL. I mean, join us for this day. It's just one day. It's I don't know, it's 79 euros or something like that. It's affordable. It's just spend the time with us and meet a lot of ambitious entrepreneurs with only one goal: to create an amazing business in 2022. So far, this is all for the commercials. Let's get back to you, Alex. We talked about the key skills of a salesperson. What they need. They need integrity. They need to understand culture. They need to understand language and different nationalities. But companies, and when I look in the companies I'm invested in, they build sales departments, right? I mean, they need many salespeople, and they need to put in systems in place and procedures. And when someone would ask you, "Hey, Alex, I need a sales department. Please create one for me." What are the 5 steps you need to put in place to make this a success?
Yes, thank you, Sebastian. So this business model initially was initiated from software companies. So software companies mostly sell to other software companies or to departments of companies that they have to deal with software. So you have all those techies there that talk with other techies. So the whole structure of the model is very they are on their own water. So that works. That's the way Oracle sells. That's the way Apple sells, and many other companies in the technology sector sell. However, the last years, and because of COVID, we saw a lot of traditional businesses jumping on this model with amazing results. I mean, there are no words to describe the success story that these businesses experienced. So, however, there are here some criteria. So you can sell digitally to somebody that is more or less digital or has the education to understand certain concepts. So let me explain that a little bit deeper. We have a client which sells optical optometry machines. Those are the machines where you put your eye inside and this machine can detect if you have a deficiency whatsoever. This is a complex scientific machine. We sell that with our model extremely well. So those guys, they were the traditional salespeople, sending a salesperson with his card there and having a meeting, showing a catalog, and that changed. That changed in terms of money spent to us, because what we charge is way less lower what is the cost of having the whole sales team with cars and visits and gas and man hour. That is the one part. And the second part is the results. The results were amazing results. How many telephones can you do per day? And how many people you can visit per day in person? So have this in mind. So what I would say to advise a company that can wants to accelerate its sales. So I would say the following. First of all, find your true north. If you think you know what your true north is, that's fine. You know it. Find your true north, understand your product, your USPs, what makes you different, and create a communication strategy. Create your sales pitch, create your email communication, learn how to handle objections. So traditional sales steps.
Yeah.
Then I would say put the numbers down. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Because for many it doesn't make sense. So there come clients that they tell me, I have a product, this product costs, I don't know, 500 euros. And I need to sell, I mean, our cost, it's very hard to make profit on a B2B inside sales model if your product has such a low value. So put the numbers down. See, does it make sense? You have a product which is a recurring product. Is that a license that somebody needs to buy? Is that a product that is going to need to be renewed or to be... So put the numbers down. Check the audience that you have. Is the audience mature enough to welcome a sales model like that? Maybe yes, maybe no. So I told you before about the example of optometry machines to opticians. It's a booming industry. I can assume that for dentists it's going to be the same, and so on and so on. But what about if you are trying to sell products for meat markets? Is the audience going to be computer literate enough to be able to integrate in such a new sales methodology? Probably not. Consider that. Create the infrastructure. Create the infrastructure. What means the infrastructure? You need to have a CRM. Okay, you need to have a call system, probably a VoIP telephone system. You have to have a control mechanism. You have to have an email autoresponder. So you need some solutions that are going to make all these procedures feasible.
Templates, I could imagine, or sales scripts.
Yes, the sales script, it goes in the first part, but what regards the tools, there are a variety of tools outside there that can make or break at the end of the day your operations. Get to know what those tools are. Find the experts to get to know that. See if you need to hire a sales outsourcing company. It's not a bad idea. It has a lot of benefits. It has also misadvantages. I do understand. I do get the picture. But one of the main advantages that you have, that's I think, Sebastian, you are going to agree, because You had a physical business. I used to have a physical business. Back in Greece, I had 3 stores. I had 8, 9 employees, which I had a legal contract with them. I had to pay holidays. They get sick. I had to pay the sick money. I had to pay unemployment money. I could, if I fired them, I had to pay compensation. You don't have that anymore. You don't have that. You hire a company that if the shit hits the fan and everything goes wrong,
you can get rid of them easily.
you say, I'm done, you don't pay anymore. What is your risk? So the benefits compared to what you have by having the traditional sales guy going there, I don't say delete them completely, but instead of having a sales team of 5, 6 salesperson with their bag, have a team of 2, and the other guys are going to be experienced salespeople behind the telephone.
Have an extended workbench, basically, with an extended sales team, which is supporting your in-house sales.
You're going to increase your sales, and you're going to decrease the cost that you have, and you're going to decrease also the risk that you take. I mean, it's a win-win-win situation.
Are there certain industries you focus on with your service?
With our company sells mostly software, so we are 70% dedicated on software business. We do not exclude other business, so we sell also physical products. We help the gaming accessories company sell all around the world. We did amazing sales in South America. Yes, in South America. I'm based in Barcelona. My salespeople are based all around the world, from Argentina to Israel to the UK to India to Bulgaria, to you name it, to the US. So salespeople are all around the world. We can sell globally. That is something that people, it's too good to be true, but it's the reality. You can sell your products globally. You are a winemaker in France. We can contact distributors in Australia, in China, in Japan, in wherever you want. So it's
well, this is what you need if you want to be truly global and successful with your business.
Global, with a very low cost, Sebastian. With a very low cost. You don't need guys in the ground. We are in the ground. We have the local telephone number. So somebody calls in Australia with an Australian number. So the person that receives the call doesn't know.
I guess we can put in your, can the team please put in the URL of Alex's company here in the screen, that our audience can see this. This would be awesome. Hey, I mean, it's a lot of information, and it's a very interesting topic. And I think it's getting more and more complex. I mean, as you said, I mean, one thing we looked up a couple of days ago, that the amount of knowledge, oh yeah, there's the URL. We need to communicate on the back end the URL, so they will appear here in a second. It is amazing that the amount of knowledge is increasing within doubling every, I don't know, what was it, 7 or 8 hours, something like this. A colleague looked it up recently. When you compare this to the time when we started our business, where the internet, didn't exist. This is a complete different world, and it's getting far. I mean, the Canadian Premier Minister said that the speed of change has never been as fast as it is today, and will never be as slow as it is today. So it's constantly increasing, which makes the jobs of salespeople obviously harder, because they are faced with so much noise and so much information which is available, where you need to stand out. You need to stand out and position yourself as the solution, the provider of service, a product which suits the needs of your clients. And having amazing salespeople, or a company like Alex's company, can really help you be more successful and increase your sales. So
Sebastian, the information doubled. The information exceeded any expectation. The wisdom, however, the wisdom didn't grow in the same proportion. So what you need
exactly
is the wisdom.
The noise is growing.
The noise is growing. People are in this Facebook mentality, scrolling up and scrolling down. The attention is very small. So the essence and the truth is in what is a long read. So read a book. It helps not only for the content of the book, but in order also to meditate yourself and be more focused on the essence and not on the surface.
We talked a lot about meditation in our event. Yeah, you
Yes.
are a meditator. I meditate every
Yes.
day, and it really helps me to stay focused. Yeah, and to calm down. And it's like, I mean, it's like when you have an in the open sea and an ocean, you know, and on the surface you have all these big waves, but when you dive down, and I'm a diver, I love diving. When you dive down, it's more calmer down there. And this is what meditation does. You know, you dive down and you experience the calmness.
But what you said before, Sebastian, you mentioned that a lot of business people, they come, let's say, for a background of coding, and they cannot see more. So what does meditation do? So I feel, I mean, people, I'm a very realistic guy, so I'm not like a spiritual at no point. But what it does, it separates. You have two minds. You have the thinking mind and the observing mind. So my advice to these business people is observe yourself, detach from yourself, and see the things how they are in reality, not from your perspective, but as an observer, and take a decision.
Yeah. This is what entrepreneurs should do. They detach themselves from their business, look at this business, and take decisions without being emotionally involved. I mean, you can never stop being emotionally involved in your business, but you can reduce it. You know, it's not your baby, it's not your life. It's a business. It's an entity which should run on its own. Yeah? Hey, Alex, if there are any more questions, I mean, we will put your details in the show notes. And people can contact you if they need advice for sales, or if they are looking for an external sales organization, maybe you could help them with that.
So people can contact me either by visiting my website, vparagon.com, or by visiting my personal website, which is alexvalasidis.com. There is a contact us button there. Click the button, fill up the form, and I'll get back to you.
Awesome. And again, if you want to make 2022 a success, and if you want to focus on your 7-figure business, join the 7-figure year. It's an event where you meet Alex again, next to other amazing entrepreneurs. We will plan your next year. We will set you free that you can achieve what is possible, a 7-figure business and a life. Thank you. Alex, thank you for your time.
For inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thanks for everyone watching this now almost an hour session here live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you see us. Have an amazing pre-Christmas period. Stay safe and healthy. And we see you back here soon for another interesting conversation with an expert of an interesting topic for entrepreneurs. Have an amazing day. Thanks, Alex.
Have everybody a successful year. Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.